Happy Mardi Gras, everybody. Jess here with your fix for Fat Tuesday, March 8th. Be sure to load up on king cake and beaded necklaces. Now, on to the news. What better way to start the debauchery than with some Grand Theft Auto 5 rumors?
For more than a decade, Rockstar Games have been delivering unrivaled interactive experiences to fans all over the world. Grand Theft Auto, Bully, Midnight Club, and Manhunt all began on PlayStation. Today, we'd like to announce a new property coming from Rockstar North.
I'm Rob Spampanato, Director of Human Resources for Rockstar.
I'm Gordon Hall. I'm the studio president for Rockstar Leeds and Rockstar San Diego.
I'm Josh Bass, head of art for Rockstar San Diego.
What do you look for in a portfolio? And I guess we should probably divide this in a couple of sections. What do you look for in an art portfolio versus a programming portfolio?
And I also think it's extremely important for you as an artist to understand what you're strong at, and that sometimes is a separation from what you're passionate about. If you try and put too many things on a reel, it's going to dilute your strengths. It's going to expose your weaknesses, and it's ultimately going to expose what lead to what Gordon was saying is those first 15 seconds we're going to be done. We're going to turn it off and move on to the next guy. So it's much better if you're an environment artist to have a reel that shows your strongest environment art. Not all of your environment art, just your strongest. If you're a character animator, put your strongest character animation on there and don't have it overly stylized. You want to be able to appeal your skill set to people that don't do stylized games such as us. We're not making, Jak and Daxter, we're making Grand Theft Auto. And we want characters to walk around like humans walk around. So understand your strengths, focus on that, be passionate about that, and put your best foot forward.
Okay, so we just wanted to go through everything now that we have everybody here and just sort of see where everything stands, because we had the marketing meeting last week. Everybody loves the direction of the trailer. Nobody had any real changes except for, just make it look pretty and get it finished. So at this point, we're just going to try to start nailing down some of the details.
We've always done our mocap at other mocap studios, and now we have our own stage. It's kind of cool. Pretty rad. Yeah.
No. Have you guys seen this already? We showed this to you yesterday. Yeah,
Caesar, yeah.
Okay.
I had no idea what it was. I remember just going to the audition. I was just in one of those great moods, and here I am sliding over the thing and jumping, knocking over chairs, and I didn't care. I didn't know what it was. It's a TV show. I thought it was a voiceover job. I didn't really know, but I was in a good mood. And then they hired me. I'm like, oh, great, whatever. And then we get into it, and you realize what it is, and you start going. And then it's like, and then you realize, and then you're having so much fun.
That was in perfect time.
And I was given so much freedom. It was one of the first times in my career that I was given the freedom to really contribute and help create this character from my own personality.
We're all kids in the sandbox, having a good time, playing. And that's why, the old name of, the old title of actors was players. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to play like this is real.
People love it so much. There's nothing better than this.
I think probably the best thing about it is, once you grapple someone and being able to move freely about with them and just bring the environment into play, just sprint around with them, push them into things, throw them over the edge of rooftops, it makes it all exciting.
And the other one was more focused on the gunplay.
That's right, that was more focused on driving and gunplay together. That one, what we've tried to do there is, create a nice arcadey sort of driving model, but at the same time layer an awesome, again, cinema style, action component on top of it. So what you saw there was riding on the back of a motorbike, being able to shoot freely, I guess, in any direction, being able to target, enemies, being able to target vehicles, sub-target them. You saw the main character fly off the back of the bike and, use it as a weapon, into a bunch of enemies. So some really, over-the-top action kind of stuff, which is pretty cool.
And you're drawing from a real all-star cast on this one. You've got Black Box guys, you've got former Rockstar. Who else have you got in the mix building the game?
Yeah, it's. I think making open world games is a challenge. So we knew that from the outset, and so we wanted to get a team together that had experience doing it. So that we could make fewer of those mistakes that you tend to make making these games. So like you said, there's a lot of guys that from EA that worked on Need for Speed, worked on Skate, worked on Godfather. We've got a lot of guys from Rockstar that worked on Bully. We've got a lot of guys from Radical that worked on Scarface, on Prototype, on Hulk Ultimate Destruction. Got guys from Saints Row. So, a little bit from everywhere, and we're all pooling our collective experience together to make this a great open world experience.
So how did you guys come to work on the series, and what's your background, and really how did you get to this project?
Time for a new game, a new gen of consoles, and they met with us, and a bunch of us had come from EA, working on Need for Speed and Godfather and Skate, a bunch of guys from Rockstar, guys from Radical who'd work on Hulk and Prototype and Scarface. We had this amazing team of guys ready to build an open world game, and we really started from there. And the thing that they told us was you have carte blanche, you can create something entirely new, you can reboot it.
Well, the setup certainly sounds impressive. I mean, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the footage that you brought along and just hit A and kick it off there.
You got it.
So tell me what we're going to see right now.
Well, so far, both at GDC and here at E3, we were showing people a lot of one particular neighborhood, which is really more based off Kowloon. So it's a little grungier. What you're seeing here is these are the other neighborhoods in our world. It's a big place. Here's a view into downtown during the day. There's a lot of different areas you're going to see during the game, things people haven't seen yet in an open world game. So we want to show people how unique that place is. It's under British rule for a long time, so there's enough similarity. The street signs are in English, the road signs are in Cantonese and English, that people will be able to not feel too unfamiliar with it.
It's really refreshing to see this footage because I think a lot of what people have seen so far is at night with the neon, sort of the same thing over and over again.
That's right.
Exactly, and this is really cool. We see that the game is a lot more expansive than just those nighttime city scenes.
Yeah, we've got a full day-night cycle. We've got weather. We've got lots of different neighborhoods. You're looking here at sort of a Aberdeen Harbor area. This is Soho, an expat bar district. There's karaoke mini games. We're really trying to create an incredible sandbox, and what you've seen so far with the Kowloon flavored area is just one district, but there is a lot more.
Cool. So another thing I wanted to talk about a little bit is the combat.
Yeah.
Maybe you can give us an overview of what the combat's going to be like. Now we know it's about shooting.
Yeah.
But what else is it about?
Well, it's about a lot more than shooting this time around. I talked about long action cinema. What we wanted you to feel like with this was long action film star. And so often in open world game, you get out of the car and you feel like you're kind of stuck in the mud. The punching feels very like Rock'em Sock'em Robots. What we wanted to do here was make it feel like a Jet Li film or a Tony Jaa film, where you're an incredibly dynamic character. You can move around the environment, and besides strikes and counters and directional attacks, you can use the environment against your enemies too. You can put a guy into a fan, or you can put a guy into a fish tank and drown him. You can throw a guy off a roof. There's just a ton of stuff in the sandbox that we want to let you use in combat. So it's not just an open world sandbox. We want it to be kind of a combat sandbox too.
How has it been balancing this really strong combat aspect with the open world game? Because I know that those are two things that don't always play nice together.
Yeah, it's tough, but we want to really be the game that people say they delivered an awesome story. They had a great looking world, it felt like, and man, the character mechanics were something I haven't played before in an urban open world game. And it's tough, and especially trying to create those action movie moments. What we've had to do is certain times when you're on a more linear mission, we want it to feel like those action movies. We've decreased things in the sandbox. We've turned the ambient head population down, or we've turned the police off, or something like that, so that you can get kind of a more linear experience.
And you mentioned a little bit, you said there's going to be some karaoke mini games.
Yeah, there's, we've got a great lineup of musical talent. Pharrell was announced this week. He's helping us out with the soundtrack. He'll also play a character in the game. And you kind of put that together with karaoke. You can kind of guess there's some cool stuff that we're doing. There's karaoke, there's gambling mini games, and there's a ton of cop mini games too that are, there's surveillance, safe cracking. There's just a ton of stuff in there. We're really trying to make A lot of stuff in the sandbox, as well as the more linear story stuff I talked about.
Well, it sounds like you've got a great setting going for you, and it just wouldn't be an open world game without all of those little things spread around it.
That's right.
So good luck to you. I can't wait to see the game in more
Thanks,
complete
Dave.
form. Thanks for being with us.